Welcome into another exciting episode of The Scene. Today, a very special episode. We're starting our winners from the MCMO award show. And our very first guest is Lee Klett, winner of the first ever Ambassador Award. I don't know if that counts as a win, really, but the recipient, rather. And Lee, how you doing this morning?
I am doing great, and another first. I get to be the first.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Well, I really wanted to kick it off with you because I think you embody a lot of what the Midwest Country Music Organization, what it embodies, right? And it's exactly why you won the Ambassador Award at the award show last weekend. But before we get into all of that, why don't you tell, for me and all of our listeners, who is Lee Klett?
Well, I am one of the two front men for the band The Boys. We are from Southeast Iowa. We travel anywhere and everywhere if we can. I've been doing this for almost 20 years now. I love music in every aspect of it, and I'm glad that people get to get together for those kind of things. Like we're just humbled to be a part of that organization.
As am I. We kind of came in and made a big noise. We're from South Dakota, kind of in the southeast corner of South Dakota. So relatively new to the org and kind of on the fringes of the reach, right? Not a lot of South Dakota members. And then South Dakota's, 400 miles across as well, right? Almost 5. So yeah, it was really awesome to go out in Okoboji last weekend and meet everybody and kind of see what the organization was really about. And what that is music, obviously, community, mostly, and just a whole lot of love in that building, man. That Roof Garden Ballroom was just so full of love. Everyone was so excited for each other. And that's really why you were the recipient of the first ever Ambassador Award, is because that's you in a nutshell, from what we gathered and speaking with you. So can you kind of speak to what it is that just makes you a fan of music, but not just music, but independent artists, that seems like is really a passion for you?
Oh, I tell you, I never thought I would ever win an award like this. All I'm doing is I just want to be everybody's cheerleader, and I do love local music because that's what we do. My brother and I are both writers, and I get more free time than anybody else in my band because I'm the only one that doesn't have like a day job. Music is all I do, so I get a little bit more free time that I can go out and see other people playing. But there's no gain for me not to love other people's music. It's not competition. We're family. So if I can go out and say, hey, go check out Jordan Beam's new single, it's awesome, or my new friends Roseland over on the border in Iowa, I just met them on the other day. They put on a great dang show. I can't wait to go see one of theirs. I bought one of their T-shirts. Like those little things, just going and being everybody's cheerleader that I can. Wearing their gear on stage. I put other artists' music on my in-between set list. So when we stop playing, it's still Midwest country music that's being played over the speakers. Not necessarily just exclusively MCMO members, but these are all friends of mine, people that I know in real life, and we all rise with the tide. So, yeah, I sincerely doubt anybody's going to forget me or when they make it big.
Right. And Lee, you're speaking right to my heart because it's funny that you are a twin in real life, because we could be twins in our approach to music. And that's really how the podcast, The Scene, started. Was I'm a huge fan of local music. I've really, I mean, my dad plays, I've played in cover bands since I was a teenager, with my dad and other things, small town, Deadwood, South Dakota. So kind of grew up around
Yeah.
that, but then moving to the West Coast, where it was all independent, it was all original. I saw a lot of hip hop acts, a lot of DJs, tons of rave parties, and a lot of things going on, right? And it was like, oh my God. I gained that love, a fierce love for independent artists and being independent myself. Then kind of moving back to the Midwest in 2009, there wasn't really anything holding that together. There was never a scene to kind of be the glue. And now what we've kind of had in South Dakota is there's several venues and things that kind of are the spaces, but there's just kind of a loose affiliation of musicians, right? That kind of fill those spaces. There's no, I'd never seen anything that affiliated everyone and grouped them together until I saw the MCMO.
Yeah,
And
and
go ahead. And
I was gonna say on Friday I didn't know you from Adam, but I saw you come up and jam. You guys are fun.
I appreciate that. I appreciate. Well, and I almost kind of forgot that it was jam night because I really came in there with a mission, Lee. I mean, I wasn't oblivious to the fact that I was going to gain a lot of value by bringing the podcast to jam night. Right? I have the equipment. I'm completely mobile. It's nothing for me to commandeer a table, whether they like it or not. I don't think they were expecting that to take place. But the fact that we did 25 interviews with members that night and have since, my email is full of
Oh, I'll
members
bet.
reaching out and submissions for the the song review show Love Noise and for the interviews. And I'm really just here to serve you. I want people to know Lee. So your passion for other artists is the same as mine, and I hope one day that I could be bestowed the honor of also being an ambassador, because that's more than being an artist myself. I think it would be more important to be recognized as someone who just loves everyone else and loves music and independent artists.
That's the thing that really got me though, because when he started talking, I'm like, oh, I'm like, I love this idea. Like,
Right.
and then he's going through and he's listing out things. So I said, well, I do all those things. I said, but I could probably name 15 other people in the same room, at least 15 other people in the same room that are doing the same thing. And then he started getting a little bit more specific, and then he started stealing lines from the meeting of the minds we did on Friday afternoon. I'm like, I actually legitimately said that.
I said that. Those are my words.
Exactly. Well, I was sitting next to Jesse Wilson, a good buddy of mine, and I was
Jesse's
wearing one of
great.
his shirts. Yo, my God, he's so awesome. But we're just sitting there BS, and Jesse does his introduction, tells everybody who he is, and I stand up and I said, my name is Lee Klett. I'm the president of the Jesse Wilson fan club. I'm just here to support my boy. And then PT put that in his, or not, didn't mention Jesse, but put that in his speech. I'm like, something's fishy here. And then they said my name, and oh my God.
How
I
overcome with emotion are you in that moment, kind of just as it's playing out in front of your eyes and looking up at the stage at PT. You guys were up front in the VIP tables, I'm sure. So he's kind of right
Yes.
there. We were pretty far back in the cheap seats. So we're kind of watching on the screen mostly. And to hear the room erupt for you, what's that feeling like? For really something that it's an award for being you, Lee. It's not an award for something that you did. It's an award for being.
I completely agree. It was crazy. I actually had to be pushed out of my chair because I couldn't stand up. My legs didn't work. And then once I got going, just momentum, and I went up there, and I mean, of course, the crowd's going crazy, and I'm like holding back tears because it's super emotional. I don't think I sang the national anthem in front of 15,000 people last year. That's the only thing I can even compare it to. Just that much appreciation for what I'm doing. It's just amazing. And yeah, I walked up there. I hugged PT, and I'm whispering in his ear. I'm like, I hate you right now. Like, you guys got me so good.
Right. Well, because you've never done it for the recognition. That's obvious to me, even just having met you, that's never been the goal for you to be recognized for that. And exactly why you're so deserving of the award, and exactly why the award and it being created now and something that we can give to other members every year. I love that I can talk now. I feel like part of the family now, Lee, where we're coming in, and me and PT are getting on a call tomorrow talking about, the evolution of this podcast as being affiliated, with MCMO and just driving it, right? Getting everybody in, streamlining it so that when you're releasing a new song, you kind of have a checklist to go through, and it's our stuff. Here's all the people that you want to talk to. Now, do you have to do every single one? No, but here's the resources. Get a hold of us. We're all open. We're all members. And so we're building some really great things. And I was so appreciative of getting the opportunity to meet everyone in one place. I don't think either one of us could recommend the organization more highly to any musician, any recording engineer, radio person. Like, please join us. The nominal fee, I mean, $50 a year is just the value you get from that, from just being, able to attend the award show and attend jam night. I mean, that's worth it alone. And that's one day,
Agreed.
2 days of the year, right?
Yeah.
The network is incredible.
I did want to throw in, I don't know that the organization is for everybody, but the reason I say that is some people are more interested in the accolades. And if the organization is only doing something for them, and it's not about what the organization can do for you, even though just being affiliated with it, you have access to so many amazing opportunities, amazing people, and everything. If you're only in it for you, you're in it for the wrong reasons. So it might not be for everybody, but it should be.
Right. Exactly.
If you've got the right mindset, it should be for you.
Exactly. And that's
it's more be the we, like they say, help, volunteer. The opportunities will come with that stuff. The wins will come with that stuff. The awards will come with that stuff. But if you're just going into it thinking, well, I'm the best ever and this is my award, like, no. Honestly, I think if we were nominated for Band of the Year, or if we were nominated for Song of the Year, anything, I think I'd have a hard time rooting for myself, because I know the other 4 people who are in those categories, and I'd be rooting for them.
Right. No, and I know that you wouldn't vote for yourself because you're given a vote, right? And that's kind of the cool thing, is that I don't think anybody in the organization is voting for themselves. Right? Well, it's just not in the nature of us. And you're right, it's not for everyone. And I guess I kind of speak that way because I assume everyone is like us, Lee, right? I just assume that if you're an independent musician, right, and you're out here doing it, but the reality is that there are people who aren't that. And yeah, they'll never see the value in what the organization brings, because it's not doing anything. It really only adds value to you if you're able to provide that other value to someone. If you are a cheerleader, if you are like me, where I'm like, hey man, I got a microphone and you got a phone, call me, let's get some content out here. Anytime you got something to talk about, I'd love to have you on. It's not about me and my podcast. It's about helping you. And I just like having fun conversations with musicians or radio personalities or really anyone.
And we appreciate it. I mean, there's only so many outlets that we have as independent local musicians. So every little bit helps. And if there's a way I can help just by showing up to somebody's show, or I like surprising people if I get a chance. If I play 2 or 3 nights a week, so I don't get to see all the shows. But if somebody's playing on a Wednesday and I'm close and I'm not playing, I'm going to go, because I'm not gonna message him before, like, dude, I'm gonna come to your show. I'm just gonna show up and I'm gonna be there. I'm gonna be there, and then next thing you know, it's gonna be some big guy with a beard in the front row, with the devil horns out, jamming along,
having the time of his life.
Exactly. Exactly. And how do you beat live music?
You don't.
I can't. Lee, I can't imagine.
I'm still kind of hungover emotionally and just like energetically from the weekend. Right, just like putting so much out there. My face hurt from talking all weekend, Monday and Tuesday. And, it didn't stop for me. I came home and we kind of hit the ground running. We recuperated a little bit Monday, but I went on our local TV news station Tuesday morning talking about everything that we're doing, but also everything that I just experienced on the weekend, right? And telling, on the TV, putting the vibrations out there and telling everyone, hey, man, these things are going to go. I foresee a lot more MCMO events taking place, with us here in South Dakota. I see it because I'm going to facilitate that, right? I think what we bring to the table, I think there's a lot of people out here that would benefit greatly from. Everybody wants to expand. I hear the same thing from everybody I talk to. God, we'd like to get a little little bit further away from home. We'd like to do this. We'd like to do that. And it's like, well, Sioux Falls is actually really well placed because we're kind of in the middle of a lot of things, right? It's a
Right.
few hours up to Fargo. It's 3-4 hours to the cities. You're a few hours. Sioux City's kind of an in between as well to Omaha, Kansas City. So we're kind of just a link in the chain, Lee, a link in the chain for everyone to kind of hit
This
through.
was
And
this was the first year I got to meet any of the artists from South Dakota. I don't know if very many of them were involved last year. Jessica Luby and her crew were all staying at the same hotel as me.
awesome.
Um,
Jessica's great.
oh yeah, oh they were so awesome, and it was great to meet. Her steel player, so talented. Well, the whole everybody in the organization's super talented. But just to meet people, they're like-minded. I didn't know I couldn't even tell you his name off the top of my head. I remember Jessica's name because hers on the side of the bus. But but the rest of them, I just get to meet so many awesome, like-minded people. And I don't know if you know, did you meet Christine Passig?
Oh yeah. Yep. We got an
Okay.
interview with her.
I, I thought maybe you did. Super talented, beautiful voice. And I was sitting there at the jam night, and I'd met her the year before, and we had talked, and sitting there on jam night, and I leaned over and I go, that duet I wrote, that's who I want to sing with me. I'm like, it just dawned on me, like, I should have thought about that a long time ago. Like, so just from this weekend, already working on collaborations with other artists. I get the opportunity to play with Monica Austin tomorrow in a little dive bar. That's going to be a lot of fun.
That
Heck,
sounds
I got
really cool.
say 3 weeks in a row I get to play with Monica because I consider last week I was there with her. Um, but then this week I'm playing a show with her, and then next week we're both doing Pizza Palooza in Nevada with Sawyer Brown and Mark Wills. And not only Monica Austin's going to be there, but Corey Waller and the Wicked Things are going to be there too.
Awesome.
So, oh my
Awesome.
God, so much fun.
So describe geographically where you're at. You say Southeast Iowa. Are those three acts? Are you and Monica and Corey? Are you guys kind of all in that same general area down there?
Uh, I think Monica's the closest artist besides Jordan Beam to me. Well, Tyler Rich and the High Bank Boys, they're maybe an hour and 15 minutes, something like that. Monica's about an hour and a half from me in Muscatine. I am straight west, 90 minutes from where Monica's at, but she's right on the
Illinois border,
Illinois
right?
border.
Okay, so then
Yep.
you're a little bit more interior. You're into farm country. I'm sure your town isn't much
Yes.
different than Tyndall. We're about 1,000 people. Um,
Yeah, we're about 1,200. We're the county seat, but the county's, I
me
mean, there's nothing
too.
in this town.
Lee, I
Yeah.
think we were separated at birth. You got all the facial hair and the charm, but it's just so nice talking to you, man. And I hope that if you want to come out to South Dakota, man, we got gigs out here for the boys, and
I would love that.
that'd be great, man. And that's what we're building. It's not just the podcast, right? I got open mics and songwriter nights that we're incubating our local songwriters, but we're also trying to bring people out. We got Brad. Brad Morgan's going to come out. He's been into South Dakota before. That's actually how I got introduced really to the whole organization, was meeting Brad and Nikki when they played in Yankton last summer. And so they were just set up well, right? He had the
Yeah.
banner. I was like, this guy's an independent musician, from Iowa, lives in Nashville. I was like, this is cool. Just wanted to meet them generally, start following them, and then obviously start seeing Midwest Country Music Organization stuff on his timeline. And he's talking about this organization, and hit him up online. I was just like, hey, I'd really like to know more. And then, and just over the last, 6 months or so of getting to know Brad and the organization, was just like, this is my home. These are my people.
Yeah.
I found my tribe. And now after being there this weekend, I was like, yeah, sign me up for this for the next 3 decades of my life. I'm good.
Right.
Like the rest
I'll
of my
bet.
life doing this and doing what I'm doing now, I'm fine with this. Let's make it work.
Amen. I say Brad was an instrumental part in me joining too. The first time I met him, it was actually a writers round that he was hosting. I got asked by the venue owner, Tim Maple. I don't know if you met him this weekend. He's also one of the content creators that was on stage. but he owned the Eagles boardroom in Fort Dodge and said, "Hey, come up and do this writers round with Jesse Wilson and I think it was Scott Kirkhart and Brad Morgan." I'm like,
That sounds
"Yeah."
awesome.
And he said we got something we want to discuss to you with you, and I'm like, okay. So they started talking about this organization. I'm like, is this something that's even really necessary? Like, because I'm already supporting most of these artists anyway. And they're like, you don't have to join, but this is what you get out of it if you do, blah, blah, blah. Well, I got, or just putting my name out on that roster and getting access to all these other artists and getting to know them. I mean, it was worth every penny of that admission price. And now I don't even. I wish I'd have joined sooner. I wish I wouldn't had to be. Didn't need to be convinced because it was uh, it was a no brainer. Like,
I
I don't
feel
know.
you. I
It's
feel you, Lee. I didn't need much of
well,
a pitch. I didn't need much of a pitch once I found it and just was like, oh, yeah, I see. Just being affiliated, just being associated with other artists is so valuable. And then the organization is actually doing things, the meeting of the minds, those might be the most valuable thing we do. And there's really nothing physically that comes out of that specific day, right? You know, you have a lot of ideas
right.
and things get started, but nothing physically gets done or a ticket sold or a performance or anything. But it might be the
Well, and
most
you
important moments of the year take place in those rooms.
Yeah, and you don't even actually have to be there. You can still be at home if you want to. You can, or they were streamed. There was a Zoom call that was involved in that. So um, I know Jake Nelson was a part of the Zoom call because he couldn't make it down early enough on Friday. I'm not sure if he made it till Saturday. He might have had a show Friday. But yeah, those kind of things that we make ways for everybody to be involved, and all you have to do is just be willing.
And
Like
that's the
it's
thing
really not
about
hard.
organizations like this and like local chamber of commerce. I actually have a chamber of commerce meeting in my hometown here today. I'm trying to put together a big street dance. I already went out and raised the money with some local partners of ours. I was going to do it for the kids wrestling team. They're like, hey, this is probably better suited for, you know, a little bit bigger event, right? So I was like, cool. Well, I'm
Yeah.
just waiting to hear from the committee, right? And those things take time and motions and all of these things and can be cumbersome. But that's usually because people aren't investing enough time, right? The members themselves aren't putting enough of them in. You know, you look at a list of several hundred members, but then there's only 5 of them really contributing. Well, yeah, you're not going to get much from that. If you have a big canoe full of 200 people and only 5 people are rowing, you're probably not going to get anywhere fast, right? If you get anywhere at all. So
Yeah.
everybody grab a paddle, and that could be the motto. You know, get in the org, grab a paddle, and let's get together to find the direction of the ship. I don't, you know, there's no captain necessarily at the helm. It's
Yeah.
captained by collective, right? And we all have a say in the direction of things, and it doesn't get more, I guess, democratic really than these small organizations. And yeah, I love it. I can't wait to be a part of more of what the organization does here in South Dakota, so that we can bring guys like you out here and introduce you to a whole new crowd of people, right? You're only a few
Amen.
hours away. We got, you know,
Yeah.
Thursday night songwriter nights, Fridays and Saturdays. There's all kind of gigs out here, right?
Hook
Um,
me up.
well, we'd love to have you out. I'm already circling some dates in September. Brad's coming out for a gentleman songwriter round, September
Sweet.
14th. So, yeah, you take a look at your schedule. You got my email. We'll be in touch.
Yeah.
Lee Klett,
Yeah. Let's
thanks
do
so
that.
much for joining the scene. Anything you want to plug on the way out the door here?
I just want to reiterate that show Pizza Palooza in Nevada. It's next Saturday. It's an all day thing. We go on like at 2:30 in the afternoon,
That May
and it
11th?
ends with yes, May 11th.
Fantastic.
That's in Nevada, Iowa. Um, and or it's just 20 minutes from Ames.
Okay. I've
Um,
partied there
it's
before.
it. Oh yeah, I bet a lot of people have. That is a good part, college party town. But I've got that one. I'm doing the Tri-State Rodeo this year in Fort Madison, Iowa, we are going to be sharing stage with L King. That's nothing to sneeze at.
No, not at all.
Um,
That's great.
and I don't want to miss the Southern Iowa Fair either. In Oskaloosa, that's only half an hour from where I live. But I get to open up for Eddie Montgomery and Dylan Carmichael. That'd be July 20th. So those are the big ones this summer. So
That's awesome. And are all those shows with the boys?
they are all with the boys.
Well, look at that. The boys are making waves this year all over Iowa. And, man, we can't be happier for you, Lee. I really appreciate your time. I appreciate your energy in the Midwest Country Music Organization. And I can't wait to see you again down the road.
Thank you, man.
And for everyone else, this is The Scene. Thank you for listening. Remember to go to patreon.com/thescenesd. Follow us on all your social media channels and make yourself part of The Scene.